Hello, Rob from Fountain Pen Journey with a pen review. Now, this is a handmade pen, hand-turned, hand-fitted pen. There's a guy in the UK. I'm not going to disclose his full name for data protection reasons on here. Basically, the guy is a pen turner in the UK, and he gets hold of some really nice acrylic materials, really nice resins. No, acrylics rather. I don't know where he gets them from, but this is one of his pens. I'm a member of the Fountain Pen UK Facebook group. Now, this guy posts on there very occasionally when he's got some new material in and he's about to make it into some pens, and what he tends to do is solely make a small batch of his designed fountain pens, puts out a message on the Facebook group and says, look, this is the material, I'll be making the pens in this particular design. There are no names, there's no model number or anything like that. So all I can say is that this is a John G, that's his surname, begins with G, fountain pen. And my God, it's absolutely gorgeous. I did a pen mail with this, which featured this pen a while ago, and I've been using this pen for a bit, and I want to go through all the parts. And I said to him when I bought the pen from him, I'll do a review and I'll put the message out on the UK Fountain Pen Facebook group when I've done the review, so you can all see what the pen is like. Now, John's really honest. He's a really good guy, because when he makes these pens, he puts in all the different things where he says, look, these are lightweight pens. They're not big, heavy pens. They're not large. They don't post, things like that. And he also says, if you buy this pen and you're not happy with it, just return it to me. No questions asked. So he's, really, really good to deal with. And as it happens, I really like this pen. So this is the teal material that he got, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to just turn off the light for a moment so you can see it under daylight. The colour isn't really coming out. It is a really nice aquamarine teal rather than the blue teal, which is showing up here. And it's really, really gorgeous. I'll turn the light back on because it is actually a little bit better under the light. So you can see it's hugely chatoyant material, really, really bright, really, really good. The whole pen is absolutely gorgeous, really, really nice. Beautiful material, really, really beautiful. So that's the pen. Now, I want to first off do a comparison with something similarly coloured, and I have chosen the Lamy All-Star Tourmaline version. So you can see it's just a tad bit shorter. It's nearly a centimetre shorter capped. Uncapped. Now, John provides a choice of nib options. He orders the nib separately once you've purchased the pen, so you can have whatever nib you desire. And as you can see, it's still about a centimetre shorter. Nudging the tripod there, sorry about that. So let's just go over the pen to begin with. Try not to knock the camera too much. So we've got a finial up here which is domed, silver ring which is connected to the clip, and the clip is rather attractive. It's quite simple, nice arced clip, very functional, little bit on the slack side I must admit, but I'm not going to criticize the pen for that. It's functional, it does the job. No cap band or anything like that. Cigar shape, classic fountain pen. Barrel, in comparison to the length of the cap, seems a little bit short, but that's not an issue. And it's a one-piece machined acrylic, and you can see it's got the domed end there. So overall, a little bit short, but John does actually state look, do bear in mind these are not big pens, so it's far from a pocket pen, as you can see next to the Lamy All-Star there. It's a decent size, but it just happens to, in my view, look a little bit short. Unscrew the cap, one turn, about 1 2/3 to uncap the pen. We've got a nice broad Bock steel nib, which in my view really suits the pen. It's a decent sized nib. It's not over proportioned, looks really good. Bearing in mind this pen does not post at all, not at all. It just doesn't post. If it did, I don't know how far down this cap could theoretically go, but that's not part of the design. As it happens, it's a decent size in my hand. Now I know John said that these pens are short, but in my view, no, not really. I wouldn't consider this to be a short pen. I shall just grab my Pen BBS 308, Amber is a Cat, which I have done a review of fairly recently, which is a beautiful acrylic material as well. We'll just have a look at that to compare the size. So in the hand, I'll do side by side, that'll be more representative. Come on. Oh, this is like a game, isn't it? Here we go. Things to do in when you're in lockdown. See if you can get your pens to balance. There we go. They're about the same sort of length. The Pen BBS is, I don't know, I'd say about 7 or 8 millimeters longer on capped. But as you can see, you know, the Pen BBS, decent size in the hand, one of my absolute favourite pens, the 308, and this pen, still decent. I'm happy with that, and I think that as far as the girth and everything goes, this is a nice width, diameter and everything else. So the section, long section, very well machined. I'll just point out here on the cap, this is a well-made handmade pen. There's no liner in there. I've had no issues with this hard starting, drying out, that type of thing. And the edges are really nicely machined. There's no sharpness to any of this. The section, no sharpness. It's beautiful. This material and the design, and to be honest, the way that John's made these pens, absolutely top notch. So hats off to John. He's done a really good job on this. Nice long section, really decent size. These threads, really smooth, and they certainly, I mean, when you cap and uncap, you know, good job on tapping and dyeing this cap and the threads there, and they're not sharp at all. You just don't feel them. Step up to the barrel, rounded, very minimal, very smooth. You are not going to feel this. To be honest, if you wanted to, I don't know why you would, but you could hold it on the threads and the step up and it would not be uncomfortable. But you've got plenty of length on this section to hold it wherever you like, and of course the decently sized, I believe this is probably a number 6 size nib, so you've got some good length on this pen in the section down to the tip of the nib. John supplies these with a decent ink cartridge, which, oh my god, I don't even know if I'm going to have enough ink to do the review of the this pen properly. But let's just have a quick look and see where we're at. Yes, we can. There is ink. There is ink. So, John G. Facebook UK fountain pen. Oop, P. That's not an R. P. And this is a Bock broad steel nib. I'm trying to write over the camera, which is why I'm making a right hash of this. So let's have a quick writing sample. Decent wetness. This ink is an unsaturated ink. The ink itself is J.O. Barn, Diabolo Menthe. My French is not good. Basically peppermint. And there are no issues with this pen keeping up. The nib is very smooth indeed. Lays down loads and loads and loads of ink. Reverse writing takes it down to what I believe to be a fine. And okay, with this ink it's not the best because this is quite an unsaturated ink, but it's possible, and it's relatively smooth, to be honest, reverse writing, but nice broad wet nib. So there you have it. There is the writing sample. The John G. Facebook UK group fountain pen. And it's really attractive. I mean, the whole material, all of this, the chatoyancy, beautiful, beautiful pen. And very affordable because John does this purely as a hobby. Basically, just charges you for the materials and a little bit of a contribution towards his the equipment that he uses to turn these pens. So I know that there are a lot of handmade pens out there, and some are good and some aren't so good. This is a good one, so this is definitely a thumbs up from me. This is, you know, top notch, good quality, handmade in the UK, and affordable, decent fountain pens from John. Now, if you're interested in this teal colour, he had a stock of acrylic just before December, just before Christmas 2019. Made 10 pens. They sold out. He put the message on the Facebook group and they sold out within about 2 hours. I didn't realise, sent him a message and said, oh, I'd really be interested in buying one of these, John. And he said, oh, I'm really sorry, they've all gone, but I do have a really small stock. And I think he made about, it was a handful, it was maybe 3 or 4 of these pens. But he let me know and he said, look, I've got this stock, I'll get in touch with you when I've made the pens. Then you can make a decision as to whether you want to go forward and buy. And once the pens are made, I'll put a message out to you via Facebook Messenger so that you know that the sale of these pens is going on the UK Facebook UK Fountain Pen Group page. And I said, yeah, absolutely, I'll take one. And the message went out and he reserved one of these. So paid him very quickly, and it took him about maybe a week to get hold of the nibs and fit them, which is, you know, absolutely fine. You've got to order the nibs as to people's requirements, and posted it to me very securely. And my God, it's a lovely pen, and it is, in my view, quite a unique pen. Now, John is making some more of these pens in this design in other acrylic materials. He fairly recently, maybe only 3 weeks ago, had some other some red material that looked really, really quite nice, very tasty looking material, but he only made enough stock, he only had enough stock of the acrylic to make 2 or 3 pens, and they sold out before I even got a chance to see the Facebook post. So if you like this sort of thing and you happen to be in the UK, I don't know whether John posts overseas, he may well do, but you've got to be quick. You've got to be a member of the Facebook group and be quick when it comes out, when these things come out on there. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this interesting. It's certainly one of the more interesting sort of things that I've acquired recently, because I mean, I always tend to buy, if you like, mass-produced or branded fountain pens, and I mean, obviously the current situation with the global pandemic thing, you know, stuff isn't happening in the same way. And let's face it, Chinese fountain pens are available, but we're not seeing new designs. So it was really good of John to be able to supply this sort of thing for such a reasonable price. And it's made a really nice addition to my collection. I'm very pleased with it. Really nice. I think that this ink is a very good match to it. I certainly wouldn't want to use this ink because it is so unsaturated, even though it's a nice colour, in anything too fine as far as the nib goes, because it's just going to look washed out. I mean, you can see the smear test here. I mean, it's just disappeared on the paper, basically. So, hope you found it useful. Thanks very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye.